Right, everybody, you're welcome to the sit day and, of course, the last day of our 2023 retreat. For people who are here for the first time, this is something I have been doing annually for the last 7 years. This is the first time that is very, very public, where everybody's coming and joining in. But when I started, it used to just be my clients. I just bring them together. Later on, I started adding mentees, and it just started growing. And this year, I just felt strongly in my heart that it should be very public. It's even streaming on Facebook. It never used to be the case. Last year, it was not streamed publicly like we're doing this year. But that is what I just felt strongly that we should do this year as far as the retreat is concerned. And I have had incredible feedback from people who have been able to stumble on the teachings on Facebook based on the things that we have been teaching and coaching on so far. And in the last 2 days, and today being the third day, if you noticed, the big part that I have handled in this retreat is on building wealth. And why is this so? Why is this critical in this dispensation? I made a post on Facebook today, I think, and I said, one of the things that really hurts me as a person is being in a world where there are so many opportunities. There is basically abundance, and it is much easier for people to achieve financial sustainability, financial success, and build wealth. But majority of the society don't know what to do, and many still struggle, and they still live hand to mouth, and they still, live paycheck to paycheck, and some live in purely in pure lack and maybe poverty, if you may say so. And it doesn't mean that, people cannot have enough. And it doesn't mean that I have super enough and I've mastered the whole thing and I have a lot. It just means that there is a level of exposure and knowledge that shows that there are those possibilities available, and based off what I have seen and what I have experienced, right? And I have said many times, and I'll keep saying this, we are in a generation, we are in a time in history where it is more easy, it is much, much easier to build wealth and build riches now than it used to be 10 years ago, than it used to be 15 years ago, than it used to be 20, 30 years ago, right? And many people are still not able. Now, let me give you statistics, if I'm not misquoting it. Research says that in the United States, about 1,700 millionaires are being made every day. That means every day, 1,700 people become millionaires. It's way faster. 50 years ago, that was a number that they could achieve like maybe in a year. But now in a day, 1,700 people become millionaires. And in China, I think the number is about 4,000 or 5,000. And the same thing in countries in South Africa, Nigeria, in many other countries, even Cameroon, it's more faster. But this is happening to people who are able to acquire that knowledge, acquire that information, acquire that mindset, acquire those skills, and put them to use. And that's why in the last 2 days and today, the third day, I took time enough to teach deeply about building wealth, the blueprint of building wealth. And this is a blueprint that if people put to work, if people execute, if people massively take action on the insights and the knowledge that I have shared in these last 2 days and the one I will share today, I can't guarantee you, like I said, one of the things I know that will happen to anybody who practices this is that you will likely be a multimillionaire within 10 years or less, because I'm not talking about overnight riches and then you are broke the next day. We're talking about sustainable riches and sustainable growth in what you're doing. And that possibility is there. And I would like to say this. This is based on what my fellow experts have said and based on personal observation and analysis and all of that. 2024 will not be a good year for ignorant people. I'm talking about financially. This is not prophecy or anything. This is just based on analysis, financial sector, the economy, and all of that. 2024 will not be a good year for ignorant people. If you just live life the same way and take action the same way, and that's why these teachings are important, so that it removes you from the place of that ignorance to the place of information. Why? Because in 2024 and even beyond, the informed, the knowledgeable will cash out money from any economy where they are, whether you are in a developing country, you are in a developed country, whether you are in the Middle East, you're in Asia, you're in North America, you're in South America, you're in Europe, you're in Africa, wherever you are. There are certain things that if you understand, so if you are here and you have missed day 1 and day 2 that I was teaching deeply on the blueprint of building wealth in this dispensation, go take time and listen so you deliver yourself from certain ignorance and operate from the place of being an informed person who is strategic when it comes to building wealth. Because likely next year, for those who will be here for the retreat in December 2024, there are some things that I said here that you will see them happening, and like, I wish I took advantage of this, right? I hope that helps somebody. All right, let's continue with conclude the blueprint. When I started teaching on the blueprint of building wealth, I told you in that blueprint that I have developed over time, and the blueprint that I use personally for myself, and the blueprint that I've used to coach clients, and I've seen clients experience financial success through their businesses or career. This blueprint has 14 elements in that particular blueprint, right? And this is from the place of research, from the place of analysis, and all of that. And one thing that will also happen, where is that ebook? My amazing team just finished. I will likely be emailing this workbook to people who are subscribed to my email list. There's this workbook that I will likely I will email on New Year Day. For those who follow me, you know that every New Year, I always send out a gift. I always send out a gift to the public. So this is an ebook that we just finished. I just finished working on, my team just finished designing it, and breaking from money's chains for complete prosperity, right? It's an incredible ebook. It will be free, but you can only get access to it from my website, or if you are in my email list. So if you are not there, you don't receive emails from me, it's good you subscribe. I'll share the link later today, because I'm really taking this serious and consciously working on it so that people can get to that place where they can operate with a better financial status. That's one of my goals for next year. It's this one of my goals for next year, for my clients, for myself, for anybody, and the mentees can tell you. One of the major things I shared in the mentorship group today was that next year I am perpetually focusing with working with mentees, and we are focusing a lot more on finances. A lot more on finances. Because if there is one thing that I think that we can be able to achieve is to, make a lot of more millionaires, produce a lot of more millionaires. One of the things that I did that helped me a lot in 2018 or 2019, where I went to one of my WhatsApp groups where there are professionals and entrepreneurs. And I said, mostly entrepreneurs. And I said, if you have been running a business for more than 2 years and you have never saved, you have never had 1 million francs cash, this was mostly Cameroonians, you have never had 1 million francs cash, that is your own money, indicate. Many people raised up their hands. And I selected a few. I said, we're going to work for 1 year. And the goal is that by December, your business should be doing well, you should be living well, and you should have 1 million francs saved cash because of your business and based on what you do. And before November that year, everybody, all the 8 individuals already achieved the 1 million status, right? And there's one of the blueprints I'll be teaching today is one of the things I did with one of the mentees this year, and he blew my mind with the results that he had financially. And if he's in the call, when I get to that point, that teaching point, I will ask him to share what I told him to do and what he did. So you hear it live, so it doesn't feel as if, just that I don't have time to, always bring people to share their experiences and all of it. It finances too, and sometimes people are not comfortable hearing their, it's privacy per se. But if this mentee is around, I did not tell him, so it's not as if we arranged this. That's what I'm telling you. He doesn't even know, but I will just call his name. And if he's in the call, or he's on the call, and he wants to share, he would really like to share. He's a very open-minded gentleman, and he likes to inspire people. So that's what I think. So, but it will just be a surprise, and I would like him to share. Let me show you how one of the points I'll be teaching you and how he practiced it and the result he had financially just this year, just like 2 months ago, right? Good. Are you ready for today? If you're ready, type ready. If you're ready on Facebook, you're on YouTube, type ready. We have seen a few people who have joined in, so we wanted to wait and catch up with a few people. Right. Right, let's get to work. Let's cover up today and round up with our 2023 annual retreat. I'm super excited with this particular edition. All right, so we continue with the blueprint of building wealth in 2024 and beyond. And in the last 2 days, we looked at the 9 elements in that blueprint, and today we'll conclude the 4 remaining elements in that blueprint, and we are good to go. And there's one thing that I'm certain is that anybody who get the insight, put them to work, you can never be poor in your life again. I dare to challenge you, and I dare to challenge myself. I put myself on the spot like that, because I know the result you have achieved, and I know what it can do to you if you execute it, right? The blueprint of building wealth. The 10th element we're looking at today is the concept which states that it is not about how much money you make or keep, but about how much money you have working for you. Now, yesterday, I teach this haphazardly, but I want to treat it as an independent point because it's one of those core elements of building wealth that you need to understand and intentionally address it consistently. So the concept here is, it is not about how much money you make and how much money you keep. Wealthy people don't focus on how much money they really make. In short, they don't celebrate themselves based on how much money they have made or how much money they're able to save. No. One of their greatest achievements and one of the greatest things they focus on is how much money is working for me. Like I told you guys, I'm teaching some of these things based on experiences with rich people that I've been able to work with as coaches and some who are friends and mentors. So I was talking to one man, he said, Joybert, one of my goals is not to always have a lot of cash in the bank. He actually has a law which states that he never keeps more than a particular percentage of cash with him, either in his bank account or in his mobile money systems or even cash in hand. He has a maximum amount he keeps. The rest, he pushes himself to always put that money in places where that money can work for him. He said he was able to generate a lot of wealth and become so successful financially because he was able to understand the concept that it is not about how much money is coming in as cash, really, because although incoming cash is important, but don't celebrate yourself because you think that a lot of cash is coming in. And don't celebrate yourself because you think that you have a lot of money saved. No, the greatest celebration you can have is how much money is working for you in different systems. It's a particular mindset you must have. It's a particular strategy you must understand in your system and make sure that you are intentional at having that system. For those who follow the Forbes annual list where they begin to update the billionaires and all of that, the richest man in the world and all of that, some people always think as if when they say the richest man in the world with $300 billion or $500 billion, there's not $500 billion, $200 billion and all of that, they feel as if that is the money those people have cash or in the bank. No. Many of them don't even have up to, if you check many of them, you will not even see up to $10 million in the bank that is their money. They calculate that based on asset. Majority of that is in asset, real estate, stocks, shares, goodwill, and all of these things that they have, that those things are monetizable. Those things can be converted into cash. But what is the concept here in this blueprint of building wealth? One of your goals, for example, you're an employee, you should not be excited that you make this particular amount of money every month. That's for the lower class of building wealth. It's good that you're making that money, but one of your desires should be to increase how much money is working for you. Because the more money you have working for you, the more wealth you are building faster. And the more faster you can get money coming in, and the more you can build and improve your wealth ecosystem, right? So how can this concept, let's say that you are, let's take a worker right now who is barely earning minimum wage. Let's take anybody who's an employee and you're earning minimum wage, and when you get your salary, sometimes when you pay your house rent and pay utilities and basic things, you basically have nothing left for you, right? Now, how can you use this system to your advantage? An example. We said the concept is, it is not about how much is coming in as your salary or how much you have been able to save. Your savings is good, but it is about how much money you have working for you that can enable you to make more money. Now, you're somebody like that. One of the things you can do is, if you are able to get some money or pay for a skill and learn that skill, that is that money you have put into you, into self. And that is a system. And when that self start using that skill to gain extra income, you can be able now to make more money. And when you make that money with that new skill that you have acquired, and you decide to say, oh, this skill is able to enable me to make this kind of money. Let me buy this asset, but it must be an income producing asset so that you are maintaining the concept that you are having more money working for you. But you need to, so when you have this mindset, it changes the way you approach building wealth. It changes the way you approach your financial life, right? So always remember this. It is not about how much money you are able to make. Yes, it's good to make money, It's not about how much money you are able to save. Yes, it's good to save money, but the highest level of this process is about how much money you are able to put in a system, or how much money is working for you at the time. Right? Now, to break down this concept more, the point here is about earnings versus investment. What does that mean? High income doesn't necessarily mean wealth. High income doesn't equal wealth. It is asset generating systems that equal wealth. Because many people feel that. That's why, have you seen people who used to work with the government or used to work with large corporations? And when they were working with large corporations, they were doing so well. They were living so well, living large and all of that. Immediately they retire, either they go back to the village or they're almost back to square one, or it's as if their lifestyle drops totally. People like that, their mindset is high income equal wealth. It's the worst thinking you can have, and it negatively affects you in the long run when you are retired or you no longer have the energy to work. High income is not equal wealth. It is asset generating and system generation that equal wealth. So, as a young person who is still understanding that, this is one of the things that you have to get right in your life, and understand that anytime there is high income in your life, your next biggest assignment should be, how do you ensure that you have a lot of money from that high income working for you? Because the goal is the concept of earnings versus investment. The second concept here, which I spoke about passively the other time, is passive income power. I like to call it PIP. What is your passive income power? Because if you depend only on doing things that your direct hard work, your direct energy, your direct time equals what you earn, it means the day that you are not able to work that hard or put that same energy, money will never come in. So you need to start working on your passive income power. Because wealth grows through money, earning more money. And that is where passive income comes in. So what else can I do? Some people have no passive income power. Totally zero. Totally zero. And most people don't have that because they have never really thought about it. Like I said the other time, our parents would have had it very difficult to have passive income. But us, in this digital dispensation, it is much easier to have passive income because of digital platforms, digital assets, digital ways of making money. It's just for you to spend some time and to study. Sometimes it's just acquiring the right skills and you're good to go. Right? So you need to start working on your passive income power. Some people will find it difficult to ever build wealth because their passive income power is zero. And when that passive income power starts growing from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 and up to 10, then is the highest level of power in terms of passive income power, and 1 is the lowest. So you need to keep on growing that so that you can earn more money. And when you get to 10, one sign of passive income that you get to 10 is you can even start thinking of how you can leave your full-time job and see a way to scale your passive income power. So what else can you do that can generate that extra cash for you? What extra skill can you do? I asked a question on my YouTube, on my Facebook page this evening, last evening, and I said, I was asking, I just asked people on the page, what are the top two skills that you have that you will monetize in 2024 and change your financial status? What are the top two skills that you can monetize next year and change your financial status? Because that's one of the fastest ways to start building your passive income power. What skill do you have that you can monetize and start getting some little extra income? What can you effortlessly do that you can monetize, that you can pitch, that you can distribute, that you can market? Or what can you learn from scratch and get paid doing it? You see, it's a skill. The third concept under this element number 10 in this blueprint is master asset leveraging. Master asset leveraging. We spoke about this briefly the other time, but the concept of asset leveraging is how can you utilize any asset you have to generate returns? For example, your mobile phone is an asset. How can you use your mobile phone to generate returns? When you have the concept of asset leveraging, it puts your mind in a place where you're always thinking, oh, I have this set. So how can I use this asset to generate returns? I have this laptop. I have this, that. I have this land. I have this house. I have this, whatever that you have that is under the class of an asset. Do you have the mind that you're consistently thinking of how you can leverage that asset to generate returns for yourself? So if you are going to practice this concept where you have a lot of money working for you more than what is really coming in per se, you should start thinking of asset leveraging. You think it, you test it, try it, you fail, you learn, you perfect it until it starts producing the results that you have. Like I was talking with a young man the other time. He came to me and he was asking for money. Then I asked him a question. Do you have a laptop? Do you have a phone? Anything? What do you have? Say, yeah, I have a laptop, all of that. I asked him, does it connect to the internet? He said, yes. So I said, so how can you use that laptop to make money? He said, I don't know. I don't think there's a way to do that. And I asked him, what extra skill can you learn that can enable you to leverage the laptop so you can get paid through that laptop? Because you can have an asset and you don't have the knowledge and the skills to leverage that asset so that it can generate returns for you. So you need to get to work and start seeking on how to get that done. But the point is, people don't have the mindset to think like that or the commitment to go through that process of converting that asset into returns. So you need to have that particular mindset of doing that. When you do that, it's going to help you really, really well. Okay. Now, one key thing about this concept is also social capital investment. If you are going to be somebody who has more money working for you, you need to also intentionally build your social capital investment. Because money is just one form of capital. Another form of capital that is important that you must build is social capital. Because the more social capital you have, the more you are able to increase your chances of partnerships and opportunities that can lead to financial growth. This is a point we explained deeply yesterday. So I'm bringing it because this point is related to the key element we're talking about today. And then lastly, I spoke about this briefly, practice what I call developing skills for upward mobility. I will keep saying this and I will keep saying it. If you're struggling financially, if you're trying to make ends meet and you're trying to gain financial stability, one of your fastest ways to gain financial stability is for you to develop relevant skills for upward mobility. Because the more valuable skills you have, the more high chances you have to get paid from different sources. Or even if you are paid from one source, it makes some sense. Many a times when you see a lot of people, you can use this and do a check around you, around your community, around your friends and family. You see that, you see this, what I'm telling you. Let me tell you something. Majority of people who struggle financially for so long, among many other things, always lack two key things. Always have these things are always inadequate. That's the right word. Are always adequate in these two areas. Number one, relevant skills that they can create value and monetize that value. Number two, lack of positioning or inadequate positioning. They have not mastered how to position themselves in a place or to be in that place or to have that identity, which we spoke about yesterday, the wealth building identity. They don't know how to position themselves and have that identity that can attract the finances that they need to do what they have to do. So the concept of developing skills for upward mobility is simple. What skill can I acquire that will increase my progress towards a particular path, towards financial sustainability and towards financial stability, or towards career growth, or towards building a thriving business? You must consistently have that mindset. Skills for upward mobility. This concept helps me personally because it makes me to stop wasting my time. Because one of my desires is that I get to a place where if I do things in 24 hours, whatever I'm doing should contribute to my upward mobility in life. All areas. Upward mobility, career-wise, business-wise, spiritually, financially, family-wise. There's no room to waste time. And when you have that, you perfectly enjoy your life, even when the challenges are there. Right? So, as you prepare to transition to this coming year, and possibly for the rest of your life, one of the things you have to understand and get it right, which is the key concept in your wealth building mechanism, is being in a position where you develop skills for upward mobility. Point 11, the 11th element in the principle or in the blueprint of building wealth, the 11th point. It will sound like something you have heard very often, but I'm going to teach from the perspective of what a billionaire taught me. The 11th point may sound so generic, but I will teach it from the perspective of what a billionaire taught me. The 11th element in the blueprint of building wealth is set financial goals. Oh, my laptop is not on charge. Set financial goals. That's the 11th element in this blueprint. Hear me very well. I'll teach this concept. You know, goal setting is one of the most popular things that people talk about in personal development industry and here and there. And even having financial goals. Or when you're setting your New Year goals, make sure you, in all the goals you're setting, set financial goals and all of that, right? But a billionaire friend shared a concept with me, which he practices, and is what I've been using, and it has really changed my financial awareness and my financial growth or my financial process as far as this journey is concerned. But point 11 is set financial goals. Just follow me, write it down, follow me, and learn and practice this. You'll see a lot of changes. He said And here's me paraphrasing from what I got from him. He said, and based on what I wrote down, he said, wealthy people set challenging goals. Even if they fail to achieve the goals, they will never remain the same from the actions they took to achieve the goals. Let me say it again. Wealthy people set challenging goals, but not just normal financial goals, challenging goals. And they have it at the back of their mind that even if they fail to achieve the goals, they will never remain the same from the actions they took to achieve the goals. But one of the major parts of this concept is setting a challenging goal. Setting a challenging goal. Now, there are two ways I started doing this. I've done this a lot with my mentees, and I'll do it. I want to challenge everybody here to try and do it. If you know your annual income, if you know how much your annual income this year is, can you indicate in the chat box? Just type yes in the chat box. If you know annual income means, if you're able to take how much you make monthly times 12, that's your annual income, per se, right? If you know your annual income, let's do an exercise quickly. It's very important. Let's do this exercise. We cannot teach this concept without this exercise. If you know how much your annual income is, or if you can calculate it right now, type yes in the chat box. Okay, for those who have it, can you write that amount somewhere? You can type it on your phone, on your notepad, or you can write it with a pen. If you know it, write it with a pen somewhere. Let's assume that your annual income for 2023 is 1 million francs. Let's use francs, right? Majority of us. No, let's try and if I use dollars, will be too expensive for more than 90% of the participants are from Africa. So let's use francs. So, or just try to contextualize in your case how much the money makes sense to you. But let's use 1 million francs. That's your annual income for this year, right? Now, to set a new challenging goal, add a zero behind. That's your new goal for next year. That's your new financial goal for next year. So next year, your goal is that you will make 10 million francs next year. If you have added a zero behind, can you type yes? Are you scared of that amount? That is your new financial goal for 2024. Take it as a challenge. The second way to do that, that is way scary, which is what this my billionaire friend taught me that he does, is he 10x his goal. So if your financial goal, if your annual income for 2023 was 1 million, if it's him, he will take 1 million times 10. So he 10x the goal. So if he made 10 million this year, he will now take 10 million times 10. So he 10x his financial goal. Okay, next year, my financial goal will not be 20 million, it will now be 100 million or 1 billion or whatever. And then the second important part of that concept is that he disciplines himself and he makes sure that every action he's taking is to achieve that particular goal. Now, what are the 5 key points that should govern you if you're practicing this concept when it comes to building wealth? Number one, the first thing he taught me was high goals propel growth. High goals will influence you to grow. It will shake you off from your comfort zone in a very dangerous way. That's the first concept he taught me under this concept. High goals propel growth. What does that mean? It means ambitious goals will foster learning and development. You will be forced to learn a lot and to develop yourself so you can attain that new goal. That's the power of challenging goals. Now, when he was sharing with me, he said there was a year that his goal was $1 billion. And that year, that was the year that he entered into dealing with diamonds and gold. He would travel to Dubai just to research about how to buy and sell diamonds and gold, because he noticed that to achieve this kind of goal of $1 billion, he cannot sell certain basic things to make $1 billion. He needs to do what the big boys are doing. And even if he failed, he learned something about how to deal in gold. He learned something about how to sell diamonds. And that changed his business perspective and his business knowledge. See the power of challenging financial goals? It will challenge you. Ambitious goals will foster learning and development because you are on a mission to do something you have never done before. High goals propel growth. The second thing he taught me, he said, when you have this kind of mindset, failure will teach you resilience. When you have this kind of mindset, you will never see failure as a curse. You will see failure as a blessing because you say, oh, I messed up here, so let me try again. So you understand that failure will teach you resilience because you have you will not give up on one failure because you know that you have made up your mind that this failure will not stop you from trying to achieve your biggest financial goal ever. The third thing that I got from what he taught me, action spurs improvement. Action leads to improvement. So he noticed that when he set that new goal, anytime he takes action to achieve that goal, he always improves. He improves as a person, his business knowledge improves, his financial status improves. He meets new people that he would have never met if he was comfortable. Action leads to improvement. Effort towards ambitious goals will enhance your financial skills and knowledge. That is why you have to work hard to achieve that goal. The fourth thing that I got from this lesson was that ambitious goals will broaden your horizons. Ambitious goals will broaden your horizons. Why? Because you are taking challenging steps. You are venturing into new territories because you know that if you do the same thing that you did last year, you would never achieve new results. So because you have new goals, new financial goals, you want to do different things and take different actions so you attain or achieve new or different results. So ambitious goals will broaden your horizons. And then the last key thing, very important lesson here, he said, progress outweighs perfection. So when you have an ambitious goal, you are not focused about perfection. Your focus is progress. Progress outweighs perfection. Let me tell you something that I learned with the rich people I've seen in my life. They are not after perfection. No, they are not after perfection. They may be after excellence, but they are never after perfection. That's why they will launch products and update later. And that's why they will keep updating. That's why every month or every 3 months, you will always need to update your WhatsApp, your Facebook, your Zoom, your LinkedIn, all these platforms that billionaires have. You always update it because their goal has never been perfection. No, their goal is progress. Their goal is progress. Their goal is progress. I was doing one consultation with one rich man. And then at this point I said, "Sir, I don't think that this strategy is good. I want to redo it again." He said, "No, let's test it and see what's going to happen." He said, "The goal is for us to keep moving every single day. It's not for us to have a perfection on paper. Let's keep taking action every day and move forward." I learned something there. Don't wait when you are perfect. Your goal is, are you progressing on a daily basis? And strive for progress. Pay the price for progress. And like I was teaching my mentees one time, progress will cost you. You cannot progress without sacrificing something. Anywhere you see progress, the person enjoying that progress, they have sacrificed something. Your progress will cost you sleep. When others sleep 8 hours and maybe 6 hours, you will likely sleep 4 hours or at most 5 hours because you need more time to work on your progress. Progress will cost you social gatherings where others are going out every weekend to have fun. You may likely go out one weekend in 3 months or one weekend in a year because you're focusing on progress. Progress will cost you social gathering. Progress will cost you movies. There are some people that every day they must watch one movie, but there are some people that they can watch maybe one movie every 3 months or even no movie at all because they are focusing on progress. Progress is never cheap. That's why progress is very scarce in the lives of many people. Millions and billions of people, they can live life for 12 months and you will see dotted progress. Show me anybody who is progressing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, progressing mentally, progressing in value, progressing financially, progressing in career, progressing in status, whatever dimension of progress. Show me that person. I will show you somebody who has sacrificed a couple of things to achieve that progress. There is no progress that is cheap, especially financial progress. You have to make up your mind if you are willing to pay the price. You cannot find progress and complaints in the same life. Number two, you cannot find progress and somebody who is led by emotions. You hardly find that. An emotional person will do things when they feel like, but somebody who has chosen progress will do things based on self-discipline. Most people who do progress never operate from the place of motivation. No. Anybody who is progressing consistently and taking value creative actions to progress themselves, you will hardly find general motivation in their life. What you will find is that self-discipline has replaced motivation. But progress outweighs perfection. Okay, now, as billionaire shared with me this concept, I developed a 6-point framework on how to set challenging goals like a billionaire. This is what I developed from what he taught me. A 6-point framework for setting challenging financial goals like a billionaire. When you are not a billionaire, this is what I use for myself. And I hope this inspires. If you have a pen, you can jot it down and go use this and practice, and you see differences. So what is the 6-point framework to set challenging goals as like a billionaire? Number one, aspirational benchmarking. The first point in that framework is aspirational benchmarking. What does that mean? It means identifying financial role models and aim to match their milestones or challenge their milestones. Aspiration benchmarking. Identify as we taught on day one of the foundations you have to sort out right when building wealth is you have to pick an industry. You have to pick an industry where you're going to build wealth. In that industry, you find industry captains, industry leaders, and all of that. So in your industry, You can decide and identify who in your industry is a financial role model and pick that person as your aspirational benchmarking. You aspire to be like that person. And then you can go search that person. What is his net worth? What is he doing? How many companies does he have? If not companies, where is he working? What is his or her career trajectory? You need that data to practice aspirational benchmarking. Because they will show you proof that, oh, somebody in this industry can make this amount of money. Okay, so the person has one head and is a human being like me. It therefore means I can also do it. Challenging financial goals. I'm sharing how I think, how I analyze things in my head. So I say, if a human being can do that, then I am coming for that path. Aspirational benchmarking. The second point under the framework of setting challenging goals like a billionaire, reverse engineering. Practice reverse engineering success. Here's the concept. Reverse engineering means you start from an ambitious end goal and you work backward to create a step-by-step plan to achieve that goal. Here's what it means. And this is the power of having that financial goal. Here's the concept. Let's say that my goal is to be a billionaire in dollars by 2030. That's the goal. So reverse engineering success points under this framework is I will start my calculation from $1 billion in 2030 and build my plan backward. Okay, I want to make $1 billion. What do I need to start doing to make $1 billion? Maybe I can take $1 billion and I break it down into the number of years left until 2030. So between now and 2030 is 6 years. Let's say so. And I tell, okay, $1 billion divided by 6. How much do I need to make every year? I now take the amount for that year and I divide by 12 months. How much do I need to make every month? I now take the amount I need to make every month and I divide it by days or by weeks. How much do I need to make every week to make this goal of every month and to make this yearly goal and end up making my $1 billion? You reverse engineer the process. Most people, what do? This is the goal. They start focusing on, oh, let me start doing this now and see if someday it's good. It's another concept, but I don't think it will challenge you enough. It will make you think big enough. I don't think it will put you in a place where you will look at life from different perspective, right? Try that out. The third point under this 6-point framework is adaptive risk thresholds. What does that mean? It means that you increase your willingness to be uncomfortable. You increase your risk tolerance. You are very comfortable at adapting yourself and taking advantage of the risks that are available. Your risk tolerance must be wide and must be loud, right? And the next point is integrated life goal alignment. Integrated life goal alignment. What does that mean? It means that you align your financial objectives with your personal values. You align your financial objectives with your personal values. You will be bound to effortlessly increase your level of dedication and commitment towards a financial goal that align with your values. And this is where the importance of having personal core values comes in. For example, if one of your core values is not hard work, for example, if one of your core values is not commitment, if one of your core values is not self-discipline, core values are those tenets that binds you as a human being. things that you cannot go against because you know that it's not about what people say. It's about what you and yourself, what you say to yourself, right? For example, if your core value, one of your core values in life states that you are a consistent person. Consistency is one of your core values. Do you know what that means? It means there may likely be a day where you will never give up on your destiny. Because when you want to give up, you're like, no, one of my core values is consistency. One of my core values states that never give up in life. You can pivot, you can innovate, you can improve, but one thing that is forbidden is giving up, because consistency is one of your core values. So when you integrate your financial goals with your core values that defines you as a person, that defines you as an individual, your level of commitment achieving will be different. There's a fellow business mogul who owns a couple of businesses, a multi-billionaire, millionaire. One of his core values is never go to bed with an important task left undone. Never go to bed. So he was the one who was teaching me one time about the concept of you don't end the day when you're tired. You end the day when the goals for the day have been achieved. That's his concept, and that's his core value. So he operates with the concept that if I don't want to go to bed late, I should complete the to-do list for the day early. So that way he doesn't waste his time on social media or unnecessary hangouts and things like that, because he has a core value which states that no goal, no important task must cross over the night. And he said that concept has made him to be dangerously, consistently productive on a daily basis. Let me ask you a question. Imagine that all the goals and the tasks you have procrastinated the whole of this year, imagine that you accomplished everything that you said you will do. Do you think you'll be where you are financially or career-wise? It's not possible. Like I taught you guys one time, a life full of complete projects, a life full of procrastination will hardly achieve success, because one of the key things that contribute to success is the culmination of projects that you have completed, the culmination of tasks that you have completed consistently that grow up to become success, to show like success. I will use the example of, for example, I have a couple of books I have written, almost 10 books. Don't just wake up one morning and you see 10 books written. No. I have tasks on a daily basis on how many words I need to write, or one chapter I need to write, or how many paragraphs in a chapter I need to write on a daily basis until the book is complete. And if I procrastinate the writing, no book will ever be complete. It's the same for reading books. It's the same like for these teachings I've been teaching you guys. You see? So you need to have the concept. But the foundation of these points to sink in your life is, what are your life goals? I mean, core values, not life goals. What are your core values that binds you as a professional, that binds you as an entrepreneur? Then you can link your financial goals to that. The fifth point in this framework is practice iterative goal refinement. Practice goal refinement. What does that mean? It means regularly review and adjust goals to reflect new learnings and changing circumstances. And the refining here could be many times the strategy to achieve the goal, the action plan to achieve the goal, or even sometimes the time plan. You can say, oh, this goal that I set, thinking that I would take 12 months to achieve, I can actually achieve this goal in 10 months. And you can even decide and increase the goal if you want to. Why? Because in the process of achieving the goal, because you are gaining access to new knowledge, circumstances are changing, results are coming in, or things are changing, you can begin to adjust to fit the new person you are becoming and the new personality that you are developing over time. And lastly, embrace failure as a gift. Embrace failure as a gift. Treat any setback, treat any failure as a gift to learn and discover new opportunities. One of the things that I see that destroys people quickly in the journey of success is they see failure as defeat. They see failure as defeat. They see failure as a curse. And in your financial journey, if you quickly see failure as defeat or failure as a curse, it's going to negatively affect how you progress. 12. Are you being challenged so far? Give me some feedback in the chat box, in the comment section for those on Facebook and YouTube. Are you being challenged so far? Is something entering you? All right. Good. Thank you for that feedback. Now let's look at the 12th point in this blueprint, the 12th element in this blueprint of building wealth. If you are joining in right now, this is day 3 of this teaching on the blueprints to building wealth. The day 1 and day 2 are on my YouTube channel. All right, quickly, it's already 1 hour into this teaching. I thought I'll finish by now so we can take questions. So I'll be fast on this one because this is our last day of the retreat. This is a seed day, right? So we are looking at the 12th point, which is on the idea that if you are going to build wealth, you need to learn how to set clear boundaries on how you spend your money, especially when starting at an early age or at an early stage. When you're still at the early stage of building wealth, one of the things that you have to do to protect that building is to set clear boundaries on how you spend money. Set clear boundaries on how you spend money. And even those who have been able to build wealth to a certain level, those boundaries are still important. Because the wrong spending habits can destroy your wealth. Like I was saying one time in one of the videos, I said, in the discussion of money, many a times people talk about make money, save money, multiply money, and all of that, but they hardly teach people on how to spend money. You can make money for 20 years and build wealth for 20 years and lose it in 2 years because of bad spending, because of the wrong character, the wrong emotions, or the wrong attitude towards spending. It's the same like parents. Parents need, especially parents who have inheritance for their kids, you need to teach your kids how to spend money responsibly and set boundaries. That's why you see some kids, when they inherit what their parents have worked so hard to build, in less than 5 years, it's gone. The inheritance is gone, the name is gone, the money is gone, the company is gone, everything is gone. Because the kids don't know how to spend money. So one of the core elements in the blueprint of building wealth is set clear boundaries on how you spend money. This is especially important for those who are still at the early stage of building wealth. However, even do you know that, how do I say this? But see, let me say it as raw as it will sound. You know that people in the middle class and people who are poor or lower class or broke, you know that they practice waste and disorganization more than rich people. That's why you will never see Dangote in the clubs spraying money. You only see musicians and these funny young people. You will never see a truly wealthy person who understands the concept of wealth spending money on unnecessary drinks and unnecessary stuff. That's why you mostly see people who do like entertainment or scammers or these types of people who do that, because majority of them don't really go through the process of really building wealth. Many of them are just good at doing things that bring in high income. Like we saw earlier, high income is not equal wealth. It is high income that is put in systems and income generating assets and managed properly that leads to wealth. So in this society now, we now confuse high income people with wealthy people. Let me tell you, a high income person can be broke the next day. Don't you know musicians and footballers and all of these celebrities who are rich for 10 years and then broke for the rest of their life? Don't you know them? Because there was a stage in their life where they were enjoying high income, but nobody taught them how to build wealth from that high income. So the 12th element in this blueprint is set clear boundaries on how you spend money, especially when you are at the beginning stages. There's a concept I taught my mentees one day, I think it was last year retreat. For those who are here, do you remember the concept of I am broke? So I taught them on the concept of I am broke. Right? The concept of I am broke means if somebody reaches out to ask you for money or certain kind of money and all of that, that doesn't make sense. You can tell them you are broke. I am broke in this sense means that my money has boundaries. My money is within a budget. My money is for a particular purpose. There are many people that have spent money aimlessly with no boundaries, with no structures, with no systems in place, and they end up poor because they don't know how to say no when they're supposed to say no when it concerns money. I am broke means my money has priorities. I am broke means my money has boundaries. I am broke means my money has been budgeted. It doesn't mean you should be selfish. It means have a structure around how you spend money. Have a structure around how you spend money. One of the things that I taught them around this concept was, which I practice, is every month in my mind, there's a percentage of my monthly income that goes to family matters. Like if you reach out from the family, you need help and all of that. There's a budget for that, for helps. There's a budget for that. Immediately that budget is finished. Immediately that budget, I don't care what is happening. I always say sometimes, your emergency is not my emergency. If that thing that is going on is not health-wise and not a do or die matter, wait till next month. That's my simple philosophy around that. Some people are still broke on to today because everybody in the family brings their trouble to you, and you want to carry it like Jesus Christ and solve all of it. You have no priorities. You have no boundaries. So you end up living hand to mouth, and you never have money to invest or do anything that makes sense because your money has no boundaries, it has no priorities, it has no systems around it, and you basically have nothing you can use to build wealth. So one of the best ways out of this is always have a budget around, you can call it family help like I do. And then the money is there. And then if a cousin reaches out, your siblings, your sister, your all of that, you put it there. Right? And when they reach out, you help. This is what I do. And when that budget is finished, when you reach out, I say, wait till next month. If you cannot wait, go and look for the money somewhere else. And after all, if I'm not there today, you will still live your life and you still go and beg from somebody else. So don't come and put your pressure on my head. I have my own pressure to handle. That's the concept. You see, so that when you do that, you will have a lot that you can manage properly. And don't be under pressure to show the family that you're doing well. Don't be under pressure to solve everybody's problems. Don't feel too bad that what would they think? How would this person think if I don't help? Have a plan to help. Have a structure to help. That's what I'm saying. Have a system in place to help. That is what is going to help you to build your wealth. Okay, so set boundaries on how you spend money, because without this element in your wealth building system, you can save money, build money, and lose it again the next month or the next year or in a few years because you don't know how to spend money. This includes your lifestyle, right? So to break down this point, what am I saying? Assign money to goals. This is one of my favorite things I use. Assign money to goals. See, the same way when money is, let's use workers, those who earn salaries. When money is coming in, most people who are salary people, they already know that when this money comes in, this money goes to rent. This one goes to water, electricity, this goes to this. One of the secrets you can start from today is the way you assign money to bills, learn to assign money to goals. Is one of the things that helped me personally. Learn to assign money to goals. And that's why it's important that anytime you're setting goals, always ask yourself, how much money do I need? How much money do I need to finance this goal or to make this goal to manifest? You see, it's very important. Number two, practice strategic spending over impulse buying. It's better to plan your expenses than to buy things haphazardly. Many people practice impulse buying. You buy a dress, you did not budget. You buy a shoe, you did not budget. You buy a drink, you did not budget. You buy things, you did not budget, and all of that. My friends know me. You never, when we go, if we go out or we go for a meeting or we travel to another country, we're doing stuff. When I do, it's not on my budget, so I'm not doing it. It's not on my budget. I am not doing it. That's one of my favorite statements. I quickly just say, I am not in the business of impressing you. I am the one that knows my financial life. I know where I'm going tomorrow. So we don't have the same financial structure. We don't have the same financial goals. We don't make money the same. Be careful of impulse buying. Practice strategic spending over impulse buying. You cannot build wealth if you buy things abruptly. You see, you're just excited and then you buy. Women especially, they're very good with that. Practice strategic spending. When you are going shopping, let it be strategic that you already structure it. You already have in your mind. You already have in your mind that you're going to do this and you're going to do this and you're going to do this, you're going to do this based on this. You already have that structure. My wife knows me. When we go to the shop and we're doing shopping and she's buying stuff, sometimes she will just say, oh, I like this. And if I pay, know that I already budgeted that in my mind that I know that is going to happen. And many times she has said, I know you like it, but we are not buying it today. Right? The last time we did that, she was like, when I'm thinking of that shoe that we did not buy. I said, it's okay, we'll buy another time when the money for the budget is there. Right? But there are things that she has still picked and then we pay for it because I have prepared for it. I don't do impulse buy. I don't do impulse buy because it would destroy your financial life. Impulse buying, I call it a silent demon. Because many times you don't feel it. You only feel it later on when you are trying to do important things with money. You're like, oh, why did I buy that thing? Why did I spend money on that thing? Right? So practice strategic spending over impulse buying. Another thing that can help you strategic spending is if you see something that you like, let's say a dress and all of that, you can write it down. and plan yourself well and buy the time you want to, when you're able to buy it, when you know that based on your financial structure for this month, you can comfortably afford that liability. Because most of the time, impulse buying is for liability. And liability is what takes away money from you and doesn't contribute to bring money back into your money system, right? Next, financial boundaries foster discipline. You cannot achieve financial boundaries without discipline, right? Set limits. Setting limits is key to wealth accumulation. Next, prioritize investment over luxuries. Prioritize investment over luxuries. In other words, channel funds to assets before liabilities. I always use this analogy. If you have money, if you receive money, and the first thing you think about that money is on how to spend that money and not how to multiply that money, is one of the signs that you have a poor man's mentality. Prioritize investment over luxury. Channel funds to assets and not liabilities. Most people, when there's increase in income, the first thing they think is how to spend the money or how to increase their lifestyle. That's one of the signs of poor people's mindset. But rich people, when income increases, their next goal is, how can I maintain this increase? Or how can I double this increase? Or how can I use this increase and scale my income life and scale my investment life? One sign that you have a wealthy mindset is you think of money multiplication before money spending. You think of how can I, you think of how you focus on buying liabilities from profits and not using your seed to buy liabilities. Two different things, right? Good. Next, last point under this point is let every franc, let every dollar, let every naira has a purpose. Every dollar has a purpose. Every franc has a purpose. Every naira has a purpose, wherever you are. I always say that one sign that you're financially illiterate is you don't know where your money is coming from. You don't know where you keep that money, and you don't know where you spend that money. One big sign of financial illiteracy, especially where that money is going to. Where is your, that's why it's good to track your spending. It's good to track your monthly spending, not where your money is going to. It enables you to operate with the idea that let every penny that leaves you, let it leave you with a purpose. Why? Because wealthy people allocate funds intentionally, not accidentally, not excitedly. No, funds allocations is done intentionally, right? So think about that as you build wealth. And second to the last point, and then we'll round up, is the 13th element in this concept of building wealth is wealthy people intentionally make sure that they focus on productive activities when things are not going as expected. This is one of the biggest things that many people get wrong. For many people, when things don't go as expected, when life is difficult or life turns out bad or there is delay or there is, you plan that your life this month, you do this month, you do this month, you travel to this country, you do this, but then life can turn out upside down and everything you plan for 6 months, your life is dry. What you do in that dry season, in that difficult season, is very important in your wealth building system. The goal here is be productive while you wait. Be productive while you're going through that season. Be careful of complaining during your waiting season. Be careful of doing the wrong things during your waiting season. For example, you're going through a challenging season and a difficult season. You spend time watching, let's say you're a job seeker, for example, or you're business person and then things got so difficult and your business shut down, you don't have money to start a new business and you don't want to look for a job. You're thinking of how to start a business and it's also a difficult season for you. You now decide that you see that season, you watch all the movies on Netflix. You spend time watching movies, you hang out with friends, you just do things that are unproductive. No. Wealthy people focus on productive activities on their waiting season. I always say that do two things in your waiting season. Build your mental intelligence and build your spiritual power. In a season where things are not going the way they're supposed to go, in a season where life is difficult, as long as you have the energy to sit and read, build your value, build your capacity, build your mental intelligence, build your spiritual power, build your spiritual attitude. It's one of the most important things you can do during your waiting season. Why is this important? Consistent action drives progress, even when you don't see it. Consistent action drives progress, even when you don't see that progress. There is something going on that you cannot see. Your goal is to be consistently active in productive activities. Number two, productivity paired with patience will always lead to the best results. Productive actions paired, combined with patience, or combined with your season of waiting will always produce the best result for you. Number three, maintaining focus during setbacks. Maintaining focus during difficult seasons will change the rest of your life. So anytime you're in a difficult season, as a wealthy person, number one, maintain focus during the season. Number two, make sure that you are productive and you're pairing that productivity with patience. That is, productivity plus patience equals to increased results. And number three, always know that consistent actions drives progress during your season of waiting. I have never, as a coach, I've had the privilege to sit down with millionaires and billionaires who are going through a difficult season. Maybe their company crashed, or things are hard, or a contract is not pulling through, or the government has taken them to court, or another company taking them to court and they're asking for millions during that hard season, during that difficult season. One thing I've learned from them is, number one, they read. They read the highest about that problem. They read the highest about the industry. Number two, they seek counsel. They seek more counsel. And number three, they work on their spiritual aspect of their life. They grow their inner mind. They grow their inner spirit. These three things. But what have I seen that poor people do? Oh, life is so difficult. Oh, God has abandoned me. Oh, the president has done this. Oh, this has done that. They blame the hoop. They complain. They go up, they come down. They sleep for long hours. They watch movies. They try to do things that will, unproductive things. In their mind, they're trying to, take their mind away from that problem. But here's the bad news. Like, some people even go and get drunk. When you drink and the mind will clear, you see the problem standing there and waiting for you. But when you focus on these things I have said, you can stumble on a solution. You can get counsel that will help you. Even if the worst happened, you have built your mindset, you have built your attitude, you have built your spirituality to even accept the worst case scenario and still move forward. Many people who give up on life and get into depression, one of the major things that happen is that when the worst happens, they don't have the capacity to accept the worst and keep moving on. So the worst always land on somebody who is less when it comes to capacity. Mentally, they are weak. Spiritually, they are weak. Attitude-wise, their attitude towards challenges is weak. So when challenges land on them, it sends them straight to depression, straight to giving up. But wealthy people That's why you see a wealthy man, they'll say, oh, Elon Musk lost $10 billion last week in the stock market. You would see him smiling on television. It's beyond that. They have built themselves beyond all of that. Number 14, and then we'll round up, is they master the art of sustaining their money-making systems and thinking. They master the art of sustaining their money-making systems and thinking. Let me see. Ndukong George, are you on the call? Are you on Zoom? Let me see. I wanted somebody to share an experience. I forgot. Where's Ndukong George? I already passed that concept. He's not here. Is George here? Oh, fortunately, he's not here. Okay, I wanted one of the mentees, one of the strategies I shared on stretching, on setting challenging goals. Well, I worked with him this year, and we used that concept, and I gave him a goal. Within this month and this month, I looked at what he was doing as business and all, and I said, within this month and this month, this is your financial goal. Your goal is to think of different ways and different channels that you can monetize what you do and make this amount of money within this couple of months. And he did, and he was super surprised that he was able to do that, right? That was the concept of setting strategic goals. I've not seen him on the call. He would have shared what happened. All right, 14, and then we round up, is master the art of sustaining your money-making systems and thinking. Have you seen people who were rich yesterday and then broke today? People that they call them, I used to, I was. When I used to be rich, when I was this, when I was that. Have you seen people like that? Yes. One of the things that wealthy people do is they have mastered the art of sustaining their money-making system and thinking. If you are going to build wealth, master the art of sustaining. Can you sustain it 50 years? Let me give an example. At what age did you start hearing the name Bill Gates? Can anybody here remember? At what age did you start hearing the name Bill Gates? And think of many other multi-billionaires and millionaires that you have heard. Even in your immediate community, there are some people, same for Dangote, same for Tony Elumelu, right? Same for all of these people. One of the things that wealthy people do so well, which you can do, is master the art of sustaining your money-making system and thinking. Because a system you cannot sustain, a thinking you cannot sustain, will lead you back into poverty. It's the same like the way people used to build wealth 20 years ago is not the same way in this dispensation. 20 years ago, cryptocurrency was not as it is today. 20 years ago, AI was not as it is today. 20 years ago, software as a service companies were not the way they are today. 2 years ago, social media companies were not the way they, a lot of things were not there. So if you maintain the thinking of 20 years ago in this dispensation, you're going to crash out and you're going to be broke. So the last element in this blueprint of wealthy people is train yourself to master the art of sustaining your money-making systems and thinking. How can you do that? Number one, continuous system improvement. Constantly refine and optimize your money-making systems for efficiency. Constantly optimize to meet the latest standards and the latest trends. Continuous system improvement. Whatever system you're going through as far as you're making money right now, as you enter the new year, make sure that you look, how can I improve this system that I'm using right now to make money? How can I improve it so they can become more efficient and experience more growth according to the new year standard, according to what is happening in the economy at the moment? Number two, long-term strategic thinking. Focus on sustainable wealth and not just short-term goals. Be comfortable at wearing a long cap. See your wealth in 2030. See your wealth in 2035. See your career, see your business with that long-term lens. As you work on the present, also develop foresight for where you're going to. The next point is educational investment. Continually learn and adapt to new financial trends and opportunities. Intentionally educate yourself with the latest ideas and the latest concept, right? And lastly, build the mindset of abundance and growth. Cultivate the mindset that is focused on abundance and continuous personal and financial growth. Why is that important? Because if you don't believe that there is more money to be made now than it used to be several years ago, you will start feeling as if everybody has made all the money in the world and there's no money for you to make. And it can affect your commitment, your conviction, your dedication, and a lot of things. It's important for you to do that. So have an adaptive mindset maintenance, right? Cultivate a flexible mindset that is ready to adapt strategies in response to financial changes and economic changes. These are things you can do from your local area, from your village, from your community, from your country to your continent, and to the global landscape. I was fast so that we can round up and catch up with time. Right, so that is it for today. And I hope that this insight will definitely help you as far as the new year is concerned in terms of building wealth, in terms of building systems, and a lot more. And as I said, today is the last day of our coaching and teaching retreat. This is the 6th day, as I announced that we'll do it for 6 days so far. And if you have questions, I can take questions, and we are good to go for today. So far, so good. As you know, for those who are here, I do still teach. Teaching is what I do on a daily basis. So if you want to join the community where you can, receive announcements when I'm having, because most of the time, the next teachings I'll be doing are never public. They're mostly within the community, or sometimes I just announce with people in the email list, or I just announce with, sometimes teaching are just for mentees, and sometimes they are for other WhatsApp groups where that I manage and all of that. So if you want to be part of the community that receives information anytime I'm having a teaching, I teach practically every week throughout the year, practically every week, teaching on different things that pertain to wealth building, finances, career success, especially building an international career, business growth, and business strategies, all of those kind of stuff. I teach practically every week, depending on what I'm focusing on. So if you're interested, you'll see in the chat box, there's a link for you to sign up with your email so you can always receive the announcement for that. And the next announcement I want to give is for most of you here, most of you are members of the Professionals and Entrepreneurs Fellowship, where we have this prayer community of Christian entrepreneurs and professionals. And we've been existing for close to 4 years now. And every December, part of this retreat is also part of the activities in the community. And then the last part of the retreat is a fasting and prayer program that we do to pray for our careers and business regarding next year. If you're interested to do that, also join that link that I sent, so that when we send out the email indicating that you can be part of that. All right. So so far so good. If there are any questions, I can take them now. Career questions, business questions, wealth building questions, I can take them now. If there is no hand up, if there is no um, particular question, then I can. Okay, there's a question in the chat box. Okay, what are the precautions one should take or red flags you should look out for when trying to make money work for you when investing in businesses, especially those that will not be fully run by you? The first thing, depending on where you are, but for those people in Cameroon and Nigeria and Gabon and Uganda, all these African countries, most of the time, businesses that they say you invest and money work for you, most of the time there are Ponzi schemes. So it's the first thing to look at. What is the business model of that business? Be careful if it is a business for, you know, come and put this and then you get this. And many times, structured, sustainable investments don't work like that. They don't work like that. So if you cannot clearly explain the business model, and most of the time you cannot see a good track record about that business that rises from nowhere, right? Be careful of those kind of businesses. In the African setting where we don't yet have a good structure when it comes to, I explained this yesterday detailedly in the video, in the teaching yesterday. So if you can get that teaching, it's going to help you. The best way is if you can identify startups or small businesses that you can go into partnership with and be a silent partner, a silent financial partner, a silent investor, and you have a good agreement how much you're going to invest, how much you will get at the end of each business period. That is one of the best ways that you can do that. And of course, also note that investing in startups or small businesses could be also risky because if the founder is not skillful and the person is not skillful, it can be kind of a big challenge. What if the small business crashes out tomorrow? You need to think of that. But again, if you look at the good track record and look at how much the person has put in a business and their region and where they're going to and their skill set, you can invest. There are so many people that have brokered in investments and they're investing in startups in Cameroon and Nigeria and all of that, and based on how far they have come. All right. So you can begin to identify small businesses where you just want to be a silent financial partner. And it's a business that has a track record. And it's a business where the founder is committed and they know what they're doing and they have a good plan for the future. That's one of the best so far to do that. If you are in a developed country like Europe, UK, Canada, America, there are so many platforms online, but you need to talk to an expert. Investment platforms, most banks now in these countries, they have platforms that you can pass through them. Like for example, the popular Cash App is one of those kind of apps. From just sending money on Cash App, you can buy stock, you can pass through them and buy stock and shares on you can buy stocks like Apple stocks, Microsoft stock, Facebook stock, all of that's one way to invest and let money work for you. But that kind of investment, you must know how stock work, how to buy shares and those kind of things. Some foundational training is important, and that amount of money, having the right amount of money to start with is also important. Although in platforms like that, you can start with $100, $50, $200, but in investment like that, if you want to make more money, you have to invest more. Okay, so the next thing could be land. Land is one of the foundational way to do that. It's going to help you. Okay, good. Thank you so much for your feedback, Polycarp. Let me see. In the waiting period, how can one build the mind against social pressure to stay focused? How can we in the African setting where family can turn to be against you for being financially disciplined, like they have trained you and you're stingy? It's just about communication. It's just about communication. And this is very true. Many families have put their own children into a place where their children may never build wealth at all. Never ever build wealth at all. That's one challenge, right? So it is important that you should know how to manage that, because at some point, if you cannot help yourself to become stable, you cannot even help your family. You understand? So having the right communication and sometimes making uncomfortable decisions may likely be the way out. That's something that you can handle based on your level of understanding and based on your family and based on how disciplined you want to be. And sometimes based on how you don't want to care about what they say, but you understand what they're doing. Because I understand it because this is something I did. There was a time in my life where no franc of mine went to my family. Because when you're barely surviving and the little thing you have, sometimes you even send money to family and you borrow to live. And if you are not careful, you can do that for 15 years or 20 years as a young person. And before you know it, you're already 40, 45, 50, and you have nothing that makes sense. And you're not stable, you're not sustainable, you're living hand to mouth at that age. The one thing I did was, I was very rugged and silent, and I think I said, you know what? And if I don't sort out myself, I cannot help this family. I cannot help you even in the little way that I can. And I was very conscious of that. And if I do this, I cannot be able to do that. And I know the importance of being able to, be in a place where you can serve and support your family, but you need to be able to do that the right way. Because what is the good of helping your family with 10,000 francs every month for 50 years? And you will never outgrow 10,000 francs. You will never outgrow that little amount. So sometimes you can be rugged a bit and say, you know what? But you must be disciplined and make sure that you're making good use of that money too, in scaling yourself financially and improving your financial status. It's important to do that. But again, it depends on the nature of your family and how willing you're willing to go through a particular process. I still have some people charging people like I shoot for my services, despite the quality and security. Sometimes I feel like my market won't be able to afford such services. This has really cost me a lot of money since I still have some people owing me since January because I am over understanding. So please, what is the best strategy to implement? Now, many a times this happens. There are many things that can cause this. Number one, the major thing that works here for some people is you're still marketing your services to keep to the wrong people. The wrong people can buy your services and they'll struggle to afford. The day you are able to meet the right customers who understand what you're selling and they are willing to pay for, this issue is going to die out. So one of the ways to sort this out is on retargeting your promotion and marketing until you're able to meet and start reaching a target market that effortlessly understands your value and pay for it. This is very important. Number two, one way you can overcome this is create a good subscription program that also limits the value that you give. So, okay, you know what? This amount people cannot be able to pay at once. Okay, you know what? I'm going to break down this amount and also break the value I give you. If you pay this amount every month, this is the value you get for that month. You pay the next installment, and I'll give you the value for the next installment until we are able to finish. You see? Or at some point, you just make up your mind, you know what? You don't respect the payment modalities I have right now. I'm sorry, I cannot be able to help you or do business with you. Because sometimes one of the worst things that can happen in business is to feel that you have money, but the money is not really there coming in. And you have expenses to take care of, but the money is not there. So you can try any of these. But one thing I'll advise you to do is make sure that you keep on working on your marketing strategies and target the people that can afford for your services and pay for them effortlessly. Like I always say, if you market your value to the lower class will pay the lower class money. And most of the lower class never have the money to pay, or they pay half and they struggle to pay the rest. If you market to the middle class, you will get similar challenges. If you market to the upper class, they'll pay you upfront, get the value, and life moves on, right? If kings buy from you, they're going to pay kingly payment. If peasants buy from you, they'll give you trouble. That's a business concept. So you should think of that, right? Awesome. Right. Thank you all for the feedback so far. Please, what can you say about cryptocurrencies? Is it advisable to invest in it? Cryptocurrency is a volatile asset. Cryptocurrency is going nowhere. It's only going to advance. I've been talking about cryptocurrency as like for 4 or 5 years consistently, right? Cryptocurrency is a digital asset and it's only going to advance. The challenge is also there are fake currencies. So you also need to know how to detect the right ones from the wrong ones, since anybody can create a coin nowadays. But you need to know how to detect the right ones from the wrong ones and the ones you can invest in. What I can tell you is that cryptocurrency is part of the future financial market. Whether people accept it or not, just give it time. So if you're passionate about it, be on the safe side of studying it, knowing it. If you can know how to invest in it, buy, hold, and sell or trade on the crypto market, it's a good skill to develop, and it's good for you. Okay, that's what I can tell you. Right. What's the best thing to do after a training session like this so that the training is evident in your life? Because most of the times you attend programs and you are very inspired at times, but in the long run you back to the same person. What do you do to sustain the transformation? Here's what I always say. When you go through a teaching like this, that's why it's good to always have a notebook or have a notepad on your phone or laptop where you're taking down notes. The concept of taking down notes is for your action. And when you're listening to a training like this or later going through your notes, your goal should be two things. What do you need to stop doing in your life because of what you learned? Because a training session, a coaching session should show you the wrong things you have been doing that you need to adjust or delete from your life. You know, so, okay, because of this, oh, I was wrong here. This is not helping me. I need to stop this. I need to stop this. You now have a plan of action to stop those things. The next thing is, how will you implement based on the training or the teaching you went through and what you learned? What will you start doing because of the insights that you got? Okay, I learned this. I've been doing, I've been minimizing it. I will start doing this. I will start doing this. Then you draw an action plan on how you implement that. It could be a weekly action plan, a monthly action plan, but you draw an action plan and follow it to the letter and discipline yourself to implement it, and you will see transformation. Okay, good. Thank you so much. And those are all the questions. And of course, I hope that the 6 days that you have spent so far with me, and we have handled these core areas. If you're here and this is your first time to be part of the retreat, you can follow this link I've dropped in the chat box here on Zoom, and you will see the recorded sessions for the last 5 days. Today was just like the rounding up of the core things I've been teaching, but more insight, especially the teaching on day 2 on the 7-dimensional powers that you need to know and put to action if you are going to experience dominion and succeed in this dispensation. That is one thing that, so you're entering next year, know how to put it to use. If you understand those power dimensions and execute them, you can literally skyrocket your life times 10 in just 12 months. Okay? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Let's stay in touch. For those on any of the WhatsApp groups, let's stay in touch there. For those who have signed up for the newsletter, let's stay in touch. You'll be receiving emails from me of coming teachings and coachings and even the free books I'll be giving out and the free New Year gift I'll be sending out, which is on how to break financial chains and shine next year. All right, everybody, do have a great time. Enjoy. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas 24th, right? So tomorrow is 25th. So enjoy your chicken, take a day off, spend time with family, relax, have fun, do well, recharge. And for those who are in the professional and entrepreneur fellowship, I'll be announcing today or tomorrow or 3 days fasting and prayers. Now let's handle the spiritual part of our careers and businesses as we prepare for the next coming year. Keep shining, keep winning. Cheers.